Hey guys, as real as it gets coming in. So now we're gonna go ahead and start off chapter 1 of Zombie Exodus. We got through the character creation, developed our skills. We are a scientific, brainy gun enthusiast at the moment, and so we're gonna go ahead and get that started. And read through. So supposedly our sister has gone out somewhere, and we are gonna start off the story like that. I will get my glorious face away from the screen, and hope you guys enjoy my narration of Zombie Exodus. Thanks, guys, and please enjoy. You awaken to a heavy, nauseous feeling in your gut. The clock reads 8:03 p.m. Emma has not been home in hours. You plop down on the living room couch and flip on the television, where a middle-aged anchorman reports. The CDC, via the White House, has just announced over 20% of the world is infected with virus Zeta. Reports are coming in from around the globe of a massive spread of this terrible infection that attacks the brain and nervous system, quickly disabling the victim and in effect reanimating the body of the afflicted. Moments ago, we heard from Dr. Anthony Willis, who has treated the infected, and stated they showed deterioration of the bone and muscles, a yellowing of the skin, lack of fine motor abilities, described as a drunken walk, and inability to speak. Dr. Willis goes on to explain the virus affects primitive areas of the brain and acts as a parasite which rewires the nervous system of the host to take over infections of the body. Infected become aggressive, attempting to bite or otherwise injure others and pass on the virus. This just in. Governor Tate has declared a state of emergency, and the National Guard have come in to keep the peace in the streets and enforce a mandatory curfew of 9 p.m. You peer outside the apartment, and from 7 stories up, notice crowds of people formed outside. Sirens blare as police vans and cruisers skirt up and down the streets, and new helicopters swarm overhead. You remember now. The infection. It was only a few days ago you heard of the outbreak. Emma mentioned reports at the hospital were of a fatal, highly contagious virus spreading like a forest fire, and the forests was doused with gasoline. If the forest... The lights flicker, and the television sets dims and cuts off. Light streams in through the apartment windows, casting a golden glow through the air, which fades in the recesses of the room. You hear movement in the hallway outside of the apartment and rush to the door. All is silent. You wait and listen, pressing your ear to the hardwood surface. Silence. You move back to the television and flip the power on and off. Nothing. The dim, ambient light from outside coats the room. Time creeps by as you consider your next move. A sharp scratching noise seeps through the ceiling. Once, then twice. Metal scraping cement. You spin in a full circle. The sound comes from the floor above. The scratching builds into harsh screeches, like a fork digging deeper and deeper into a styrofoam plate. The sound intensifies for several minutes and then ceases. The television pops back on. Pictures of infected running through the streets across the globe cover the screen. Police and military attempt to subdue the creatures, now called zombies by the media. An announcer describes the macabre truth that infections are spreading rapidly and cautions viewers to stay indoors at all costs. From overhead, you hear a loud thump and a crash of broken glass. An explosion of footsteps rings from the hallway, and several screams cut the air. You think of Emma out in the city. If zombies are running rampant through the streets uncontrolled by the police, what chances does she have? You need to reach her. There is no landline, and your cell phone is missing. She could be on her way back. but you have no way of reaching her from the apartment. Then again, there's nothing keeping you here. You change into jeans and a t-shirt and grab a quick sandwich and a glass of water. After eating, you realize a few items may come in handy should you need to leave your station in relative comfort of the apartment changes. You decide it's best to take. We are now ready. Okay, so hey guys, so we're going ahead and going to go and choose things. Well, I see two options here, the revolver and the shotgun, which I'm going to assume are super useful in the upcoming firefights. I'm going to probably choose the revolver. I'm definitely taking one of these guns as one of the items I could choose. Can I choose more than one? No. Okay, so I'm definitely taking one of the guns as my choice. Or the research file notes, because that sounds like a specialty thing that I got as being a scientist, and that might come in handy for the story later. But I do know that I'm definitely taking one of the guns. I'm going to go with a revolver just because in a zombie apocalypse, you are definitely not going to just face zombies. People are going to be a problem too. There are going to be people out for your head because they need food. Maybe they want to eat you, or they need something else like your supplies. And they're not going to just ask you to give them. They're going to take them. So, and I feel like a revolver, well, I know a revolver has a little bit more of a reach than a shotgun might. And it also has a little bit more of a elusiveness to it. You can't just like hide a shotgun in your pant leg most of the time, unless you're like Dark Tower style with a big old trench coat. So I'm going to go with the revolver and see what that does. You're presented to be Dirty Harry, but in the world of personal defense, a 38 special is a fine sidearm. You grab your revolver from inside a locked safe and take 20 rounds of ammunition. Right on. One more item is all you can take. The next thing you choose is... Oh, okay. So we get to choose two items. I'm gonna... or a backpack, because then you can put more shit in it. That sounds pretty useful. I'm going to do the research notes because I feel like that adds a lot more fluff to the story and might give us a lot more options later on. You take several files of data you have been collecting of exotic viruses. Could there be something useful to help stop this outbreak? Now it's time to make a decision. Emma is a smart and capable young woman, but it's your job to watch over her. You can head out and look for a phone, or just leave the building and find her in the city below. On the other hand, you may be best to learn more about the virus, and you could watch the news or search the internet while the power is on. Well, okay. There's zombies flowing through. Are we really going to see her on the TV? I don't think so. So I'm going to go ahead and search the apartments. I'm not going to just I'm going to wait for her right here. She can be dead for all we know. You head into the hallway. Someone will let you use their phone to call Emma. There have to be others still in the building. Behind locked doors, finding your sister is your only priority. The lights flicker and cast an eerie glow all around. Power fluctuates off and on. It's silent again. Way too silent. You head to an apartment. Mr. Connor, antique dealer. Now, let's go with the last one. You never want to choose the first option. As you step toward the apartment, sounds resonate. Through the door, a loud male voice, repeated, clicking noises, a constant electrical hum. You knock on the door. All go silent. Moments pass. You listen and hear the rattling of locks and chains at the door, which spring open. A tall man in his early 20s enters the door, wearing a tie-dye t-shirt and faded blue jeans with dark brown sandals and a full bushy blonde beard. Oh, wonderful, them flippin' hippies. A blue wool knit cap is pulled tightly over his head. He leans out of the door, looks left to right, and then pulls you into the apartment. Inside a geek's wonderland, half a dozen laptops blinking and buzzing in a row. A large plasma television with 8 different news channels tiled on the screen, wires and cables on the walls. Hanging from the ceiling and crisscrossing every inch of walking space, dozens of open cans of Red Bull spread across various surfaces, comic books and graphic novels strewn about. My man, he knows what he's dealing with. Lord of the Rings memorabilia set in a shrine near an open kitchen, and a dozen movie posters covering sci-fi over the past 30 years. Hey, I'm Jason. Have a seat, he states through a raspy, cigarette-soaked voice and sits in a rolling chair positioned in front of a row of laptops. He taps away at a PC and yells at the screen. People are just rising from the dead all over the world. It's global zombie chaos. This is undead Armageddon. Hey, Jason. I'm James. I really need a phone. Do you have one I can use for a quick call? Not sure what you're trying to prove asking me that, Jason says, shaking his head. Oh my gosh, I love the second answer. Jason, give me a phone before I break your neck. Lovely. Okay. Dude, got a phone. Is that what we're supposed to answer with? Because, he's a hippie-ish kind of dude? Jason, this is an amazing setup you have. I've never seen the system linked this way. Hey. Let's go the honest route. Maybe he'll do. Jason removes an earbud from his ear. No, sorry, I was talking to my buddy, Deader on Vibe. Trying to stay off the cell phone grid. No problem. Can I use, VoIP to call someone? As Jason flicks switches and taps on keys, the laptop turns off, as do the monitors and television, and the light dims. Jason moves to a side wall with what looks like most elaborate fuse box in North America and pushes wires and fuse caps around. You see, this epidemic is underreported. Most of Europe is almost already zombie-fest, and there's millions of Asian zombies running around. These things ain't like the movies. These even more ferocious. You got to destroy their heads, or they just get back up more pissed than ever. A long, shrieking noise echoes through the apartment. You and Jason freeze. The sound was not natural, not human, and not animal. You close your eyes to focus on listening to, but only hear the hum of the computers and your own rapid breathing. Jason runs to the door and presses his ears against it. His mouth opens wide in a gasp, but no sound emanates. He rushes towards you, grabs your shoulders, and begins pushing you to the door. Sorry, you gotta go. Before you have a chance to reply, Jason leads you through the door and closes it. You are standing in the hallway alone once more. Let's go to the occupant. You knock on the door and receive no response. After several minutes and hear nothing from inside, you check the doorknob. It is unlocked. You sigh and enter the apartment. Hanging in the middle of the room is a short, thin man, his neck tilted to the right by a rope around his neck. Dangling in the room with an expressionless face, he appears as a puppet on a string. Dressed in a navy blue business suit, he is pale white with blue lips and thick, sagging purplish skin under his eyes, and slight swaying from side to side is his only movement. A makeshift noose leads from his neck to a ceiling fan, and a stool lies on its side a few feet from the man. His apartment is well furnished with a widescreen TV hanging on the wall, leather couches, modern art, and a full bar setup of the far right side of the room. You do a quick scan of the area, but see no phone. There may be a cell phone on him, but that means searching his dead body. I'm going to say search the man. This is, it's pretty important to get your call through. You move over to the hanging businessman and stop his body from swinging. You check his pants, pockets, and find them completely empty. Then look through his coat and remove a folded piece of paper and his checkbook. The note is a handwritten message which reads, "To whoever finds me, I am sorry. I couldn't handle this life anymore. But this infection is spreading, and soon we will all be food for the zombies. I cannot stand the thought of living in such a world, constantly struggling and fighting for my survival. I tried to call my mother and my father, but the networks are down. If you found me, please get in touch with my parents, Arthur and Jean Dobson. I've written a check for $25,000 in my pocket and offer it to you to find them, and tell them I am sorry. Thomas. You look up from the note and spot the body twitching. You fall backward, knocking over an end table, which hits the ground with a hard thump. Thomas's eyes open, and he thrashes about slowly at first, then intensifying into an almost convulsive state. His skin is yellowed, and greenish lesions have formed all over parts of his visible skin. He struggles in midair, flailing his arms about, but unable to reach you. Slender hooked fingers claw the air. Blood-stained eyes track your movements. While he seems securely stuck to the ceiling, you are not sure how long it will take for the cord or ceiling fan to give way. So you back into the hallway, closing the door behind you. You realize that staying upstairs is a waste of time, and if you want to find Emma and get out of the city, you'll have to make your way downstairs. Well, that was pretty uneventful but eventful kind of chapter right there. That was interesting, watching the journey. So we're going to be going to the next chapter, the journey downstairs, next time. I appreciate you guys watching. It was a pretty cool time. And we'll get back to you in chapter 3 of Zombie Exodus. Right on, guys. As real as it gets, signing off.